Welcome back to the Robots vs. Vampires podcast. You know the deal. Every week we dive into some wild story that blends science fiction and fantasy, stories that really make you think.
And this time, we've got a real doozy. Someone out there in listener land sent us a story, just pasted text. But it's dot intense.
Oh, yeah. The title alone, Farrell, gives you a sense of what we're dealing with here.
Definitely. And it really gets at that question, what happens when something supernatural just erupts right in the middle of everyday life? Like, boom, there it is.
Exactly. And our mission, if you choose to accept it, is to dissect this thing, really get into the nitty-gritty, see what makes it tick and what makes it so gripping. And speaking of gripping, let's talk about Nora. She's our main character here, and right off the bat, you feel for her. This bullied teenager, constantly targeted. It's rough, man.
You just know something's got to give.
Right. And it all kind of comes to a head in that locker room scene. You've got Melissa, the classic bully, just laying into Nora. But it's more than just words, you know? It's like this crushing weight of powerlessness.
It's palpable. You can almost feel it.
Absolutely. But then there's this shift in Nora, this intense desire to fight back, to just like unleash. Have you ever felt that? That kind of primal urge to push back when you feel totally helpless?
Oh, yeah. It's like that fight or flight response, but amplified times 10.
Exactly. And this is where things start to get really interesting.
Because it's not just anger. It's like her whole world changes in that moment. Her senses go haywire. Everything's louder, smells are overwhelming, and there's this growl, this deep guttural growl coming from her.
Chills, man.
Right. It's like, hold on, something's happening here that's way beyond normal teenage angst.
Then there's Ethan, this new kid who shows up. He makes a comment about knowing what it's like to be targeted. And at first it seems like, okay, maybe he's just trying to be nice, but looking back, it feels like way more than that.
It's almost like he recognizes something in her, even before she does.
Yeah. Like he sees this raw power, this otherness that's starting to emerge, and then bam, the punch. She breaks the senior's nose. It's not just a lucky shot, it's like this explosion of pure force.
You know it's serious when even Nora's freaking out. And her mom later. Talk about a wake-up call.
Totally. This isn't just some teenage outburst. Something fundamental has changed. And then we get to the bathroom scene. Talk about a turning point.
Oh, man. Slitted pupils. Fur starting to sprout on her arms.
It's like, whoa, this is real. This is happening.
That's just in her head. This transformation is physical. It's visceral.
And she's terrified, so she does what any of us would do. She hides. Her backyard becomes her sanctuary, this little patch of wilderness in the middle of suburbia.
And it's interesting, right, because the darkness, the natural world, it actually calms her. It's like he belongs there.
It's like she's tapping into something primal, something ancient. And her senses are heightened. Her movements are faster, more fluid. She's becoming something else.
And then Ethan shows up again. He's like, hey, I know what's going on. And this time, it's not just a hunch. He knows.
And he drops this bombshell. They're watching you.
Chills, man. Again.
Yeah, right. Who are they? What do they want? Suddenly, Nora's not just dealing with her own transformation. She's got this whole other layer of danger to worry about.
It's like the story opens up. It goes from this internal struggle to, bam, external threat.
Exactly. And then Ethan reveals his own secret. He's like Nora. He shows her this glint of silver under his sleeve. A claw.
Boom, the supernatural world just exploded wide open. It's confirmed. It's real.
And just when you think things can't get any crazier, these figures emerge from the darkness. Hunters. And they're not messing around.
Especially the woman leading them. She's got this intense vibe and this weird symbol on her lapel. And she calls Nora child, like she owns her.
And says it's time to bring her home. Home? What home?
It's clear these hunters have an agenda. They know about Nora, they know about Ethan, and they're not afraid to use force.
It's like that age-old conflict, right? The individual versus the powerful group, freedom versus control.
It makes you wonder, who are these people? What's their deal? What do they want with Nora? So many questions.
And poor Nora is caught in the middle. Does she trust these hunters who just came out of nowhere? Or does she go with Ethan, who's just as mysterious, but at least seems to understand what she's going through?
It's a classic dilemma. And the way she decides, totally unexpected. She just launches herself at Ethan, and they disappear into the shadows. Cliffhanger ending. Talk about leaving us wanting more.
Oh, it's brutal, but so good. So let's step back for a second. What if some of the big themes that jump out at you from Farrell?
Well, for me, it's that idea of hidden potential. Nora goes from this shy, bullied kid to someone with these incredible almost animalistic abilities. It makes you think about what we're all capable of. Maybe we all have these hidden depths, these strengths we never knew we had.
Totally. And it's not just about strength, it's about identity. This transformation forces Nora to confront who she really is, who she's becoming. And that can be scary, but also liberating. It makes you think about how our sense of self can evolve, how we can change and grow in ways we never imagined.
And then there's this whole idea of a hidden world, this secret society operating in the shadows. It's classic sci-fi and fantasy, right? But it always makes you wonder, what if there's more out there than we realize? What secrets are hidden just beyond our perception?
Exactly. And that's what makes this story so compelling. It takes these familiar themes, transformation, identity, the struggle for freedom, and wraps them up in this mysterious supernatural package.
It leaves you with more questions than answers. And that's the mark of a truly great story.
So, listeners, what did you think of Feral? What resonated with you? What questions are you still pondering? Let us know in the comments. And as always, if you enjoyed our deep dive into this wild tale, be sure to rate and follow the Robots Vampires podcast for more awesome stories.
And here's something to chew on. What if you discovered a hidden part of yourself? What would you do? Who would you become? Until next time, keep exploring the unknown.
And watch out for those shadows. You never know what might be lurking there.